Why is it every day?
That was loud as hell.
Every day is the laughter. What's up, team?
What up?
Hello, everybody. Do you need coffee?
Yeah, I haven't had coffee today.
Finish it.
No.
Christian doesn't drink coffee.
It's all cold now.
It was cold when he started.
Yeah.
Oh, they serve cold brew? Oh, so
Yeah, see, like,
so
here's
it's
a question for
watered down
you.
cold brew now?
Here's a question for you.
How do you know it's
If
watered
you-
down?
Because it's served with ice, no?
This one was, but a little bit. But normally you have the option, so it's not all the time.
I want you to
Okay,
understand.
but this time it is watered
Yeah,
down.
but that's not the point. The
Okay.
point is that you like not every single
Don't
one.
assume.
Yeah, exactly.
my God.
You can't just assume, the person's drinking a cold brew. Oh, it's watered down. You were the one who started it. Well, no, you didn't start it. You were part of it, and then you're like, I'm out.
Before we started, and then you started arguing after we started. Anyway, so Christian's back on caffeine for the
That's
month.
been a while.
Yeah, I know, but
Yeah.
as Liv pointed out, it's like every other month. It's like 2
Well, she's
months
like, when's your
on, a
break
month
coming
off.
up? And I'm like,
right?
should be soon, you know?
Should be soon. Also, I feel so naked without my watch. Every time I don't have
where
it
is
on,
it?
it's upstairs on the desk. I'm sorry.
Why? Yeah.
I don't know.
He said, I'm sorry.
I don't know what happened.
How
I
dare
feel really
Why
bad.
are you apologizing? How
People
dare
are like, people are like,
you?
oh, we tune in for podcast information on real estate. And I'm like, I have my watch.
I feel like this is actually what they tune in for.
I actually agreed, to be honest with you. But I was talking today on the To Be Frank show, which I really want other people to do for reference. I loved the episode with Allison way back when. That was such a good episode. But we were talking about what was the thing, what not to look for?
It's both.
For this week?
Yeah.
It's what to look for and what to not worry about.
Oh, what to look for and what to not worry about. So, like, I find that when I go to show property, I show property with buyers that focus on the wrong thing. And we all know that, right?
Well,
Like,
so you took the approach from buyers. I looked at it from a seller's perspective as well.
what not to look for, seller? Okay, talk
Wait,
to me more
what?
about that.
Now you're confusing the shit out of me.
Oh, my God.
You said, I thought it was what to look for.
Okay.
So when you're selling your home, people are like, what upgrade should I make to my house to get the most amount of
Oh,
money?
I feel that.
Right?
You know what's really annoying?
What?
The seller that's like, oh, I replaced one window. I'm like, dude, that's not
They're like,
changing
give me
the
80
value of
grand
the
now.
home. Yeah, right. Like, I feel like, all right, we're going to do this from both perspectives. I feel like sellers oftentimes choose the wrong improvement to focus on. I'm not saying
100%.
don't upgrade your windows. What I'm saying is that the upgraded windows is not the value that's going to bring the buyer in the door.
Well, my point was the biggest value or the biggest thing you can do is just the 3Ds of real estate. Of listing your home.
Hey.
Okay.
I don't know what that would be, but like
It's a whack
Come on, dude.
sound.
Silence it.
whack. That was really poor timing. Anyway.
But like depersonalize, declutter, and deep clean. Like
Yes.
Wayne, the gentleman we went over his house in Temple Hills.
Correct.
If he did that thing from head to toe and left his property like with all the shit he has in it, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter the amount of renovations he does with all the stuff that he has, he wouldn't get top dollar.
What you're saying is that he's not staging the property according to like the condition that it needs to be. What? It's my phone.
Is it? Is it your dog fucking making an earthquake up there again?
Bro, calm down.
Dude, he just-
Like when you're a seller, I feel like sellers focus on the wrong thing. I feel like buyers focus on the wrong thing. And they always focus on the opposite thing. Right? Like sellers would be like, oh, new front door. New front door. New front door. I paid a lot of money. New front door. It's fancy. And buyers will be like, oh, this one doesn't have granite counters. And I'm like, I hate you both. Like literally, that's how I feel.
Yeah.
I feel like sellers hyper focus on like, oh, well, we got a new screen door and the railing on the deck is new. Jesus Christ. I'm just going to turn my phone off. I'm actually going to turn my phone off.
Just put it on something that.
Nah, it's too late. It's already on silent. It's already off.
Hell yeah, first time.
So,
It's
so
gonna blow
they'll be
up.
like, the railing on the deck is new. They'll say things like, oh, the fence gate is new, right? Or they'll say things like, oh, I replaced all the light fixtures in the house. I'm like, dude, nobody cares. And then conversely, you walk into a property with a buyer and you're like, hey, how does this house feel for you? How does it compare to the other homes that you've seen? What's important to you about the home in the marketplace? And they'll be like, oh, I really don't like that this one doesn't have a walk-in closet. Be like, well, why are we here? Mm-hmm. Right? Or they'll say things like, it smells.
I hate when people say it smells. I'm like, yeah, no one's lived here
Right. Or
Like,
like
no
it
one-
smells like you, smells like the cellar. Yeah, everybody's got like a weird smell. And I like walk into my own house. I'm like, what's that smell? In my own house. And people are like, I can't buy it because of the smell. I'm like, all right, I can't handle
See,
it.
and that's why at open houses I have candles.
Do you every time?
Yeah.
Is that like a byproduct or is that like a standard?
Well, I mean, it's a standard because of a byproduct.
Tell me more about that.
I hate when people have that mindset. Like, well, when I go on showings, like my buyers have that mindset, right? So like I can't control unless I show up to our showings 30 minutes before and light a candle, right? To every single showing I go to. I realize like your mindset, like what you see, like what you smell, like the conversation you have, like all impacts psychologically the impression that you make on the buyer when they come to those open houses.
Okay, so can I ask you a favor? I've heard of this and I've never like seen it done. Mm-hmm. Instead of the candle, what does the candle cost you?
Because I go to the dollar store for them.
$1, right?
Yeah.
All right. So could you get like cookies at the dollar store?
Yeah.
Uncooked.
What
It's like
is
mice in the attic. What in the world? It's the dog.
Oh.
Anyway, could you get like a cookie, like, you know, like cookie dough in the fridge section?
Yeah. I mean, I understand baking cookies, right, for your open houses.
Well, I just want to, like, people have talked about it, but I've never seen it.
Right. I've never seen it either because that's like some real old school shit. But at the same time, I think it's different with like your own listing because like maybe you knew the family that lived there. But it's like when it's like like a remodel place, like you need to clean the place. Like you need to clean the oven when you cook in it.
What you talking about?
Yeah, now I'm.
What is happening? Can you solve this problem? Please? I don't even understand. Anyway. What? So, like, what's the difference when it's a renovation or when it's a primary owner that you know or when it's someone that you don't know?
I think it's different if like if the house has been lived in and like people clean. I mean,
Okay.
again, then you can have tenants. I mean, or not tenants. Then you can have people that live there and don't clean it. So it's like it still affects it. But I don't know. Like I feel like you need to go in and clean the oven before you bake in it.
Do you clean the oven before you bake in it? I'm not even asking.
Wait,
Christian.
You clean your
Blinders to
oven.
Christian.
What?
Have you ever cleaned the oven?
Yeah, not the one in Annapolis.
Lies. I don't care about the one in Annapolis. I'm saying in general. Have you ever cleaned the oven?
I have.
I think if I said that I had cleaned the oven, I'd be lying to you. Like, I know that I've, like, done it, but I've never, like, taken the wire racks out and, like, scrubbed the walls. And
Really?
Like, nah, like, I've, like, cleaned up a mess. I've cleaned the glass. Like, I try to clean the glass routinely. But, like, you know, I don't, like, take everything apart and, like, clean the oven. Not even, I mean, I guess if I just moved into a place, I probably would think about it.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah, but it's cookies at an open house. I've never seen it done. That's
I don't
all I'm
understand
saying.
where we're going with this anymore.
We're not going
open
anywhere.
house scent. Like
We're
the
already
scents.
here. We're already here.
Okay.
But like I've heard about people talking about this stuff.
Yeah.
Right?
No, I agree with you. I agree.
We watched the webinar this morning, and what did you guys think of the webinar?
It was okay.
Yeah, she's not the best.
No.
She's not the best. But the thing that I do love about it is that Liv was like, "Hey, we're going to talk about this," and I was like, "All right, cool, I love it." So then I watched it, and she's not the best. But the point is that she has a lot of like open house strategies that I was really about. Right?
Yeah, but well, like I feel like open house is more again like than just the 2-3 hours that you show up, put a couple signs out, and
Yeah.
dip.
But like I think that the smell, the candle, the cookies, the other things goes with the strategy. And my question was if anybody had ever done cookies, and I've never done it, and I've heard about it, and that's why I was asking if you would do it. I'll even subsidize
Maybe during
it.
Christmas.
Wait all the way to Christmas to see how this goes out.
Yeah.
Meow.
Because it's like for the summertime, I think I would have like lemonade.
Yeah.
There you go.
Obviously, that
Christian.
doesn't smell right.
Yeah.
What's a good like summertime smell?
Like zesty, like orange crushes, mimosas.
I mean, you could. I just feel like some
Grill
of that
some
stuff is
dogs.
overplayed, and I think the difference is that the cookies have a smell.
Yeah.
Like hot dogs have a smell.
but also I feel like cookies speak to like
Yeah, like
home.
grilling. There you go.
Yeah,
You
but
could grill some burgers.
Yeah, but like you can't whip up a grill in your backseat of your Tesla.
That's true.
You know, you could like pre-fucking.
You could do the
George Foreman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
You
could.
could do a small one.
I mean,
Yeah.
you could.
You could.
I just think to myself,
don't ever.
I want to know what it's like. Maybe I should just do this. I'm just going to do it.
Yeah,
doubt
dude.
it.
Actually, that would be such a good idea to have like a
Pan
grill out.
spray, aluminum pan.
I just made
and a
cookies
thing
the
of
other
it.
night.
It's $3, $3.75 plus tax.
I just made cookies the other night.
Yeah, but not at an open house.
No.
I think the cookies have like just like a home scent. That's why they probably have a big impact.
Yeah.
The thing is, like when people have individual candles, I think you're doing it on maybe candles have the same thing, but if you're trying to get people to recognize you for a candle and for that certain thing, you have to be doing open houses religiously and inviting the same people so then they know.
Well, I think, all right, so let's take both the topic and the webinar today. So the webinar today was about how to capture a buyer at an open house, right? And we're kidnapping you, like full on, like, right?
I'm following you through the home.
Yeah, right? And then the topic was what to look for in a home. And I think the key to the cookies is that it meshes both, right? Like
You think it's like
it's an attraction, but it also is that psychological piece that you mentioned. Like as soon as you walk into a home, what you want to look for is like, could I see myself living here? And that's
I feel
what
like
the
it's kind of
cookie
like one
smell
of those
does.
like
Yeah.
like kind of like a soft introduction of like you living in the property.
I mean,
It's
I
welcoming.
feel that. I feel that. I think in the end of the day, it's just the right thing to look for. Whereas in the same category, the smell, the off-putting thing is now the wrong thing to get turned off for. And it's hard to explain that, right? Which is where you were coming from, like the seller's perception. It's like you're turning on the wrong thing and you're turning off the wrong thing. Sellers are turning on the screen door that they just replaced, and buyers are like the smell. And you're like, guys, nobody cares about the screen door. Nobody cares about the smell. A smart buyer is the one that goes into the shittiest house, that looks at the property for what it is, the location, the price, the condition, and says, you know what? I can fix this, and makes it into a, right? Instead of buying the nice house.
Well, then like a lot of these people, they like talk about what they're actually looking for in a home. And then when they go and find it, they're like, never mind. I'm just like, well, then what is the right property for you?
Right.
Like I've dealt with it. I don't understand.
I also
I'm
don't
sorry.
understand.
I'm so sorry.
But I feel
You just put
Andrea
so
in this
much
moment.
emotion.
Yeah.
You're just like I can sense like your disappointment because it's happened to you.
Well, yeah. I mean,
right.
I've lived through it, but like
I know I can
it
relate
doesn't-
to you,
it
and that's
doesn't
why
make- it doesn't make any sense. Like people are like, "Oh, Christian, I want the X, Y, and Z," and I'm like, "Okay, well, if we find a property with X, Y, and Z, what's going to stop you from putting in an offer?" They're like, nothing. And then we go there, and they're like, "Oh, we don't like the home.
Well, see, my question becomes, why are you there?
Why am I at the house?" Or like, why are we in this position in the first place?
No, why are you at the house?
Can we clip that?
Meow.
What the fuck?
Yikes. All right. So the question that I had is,
Why
like,
are we
why are
there?
you in that position, right? Like, if you're working with your client, and take the example of what we talked about last week, Dre. You're working with your client, and they're like, "Hey, I want you to sell this home," and you're like, "Okay." He's like, "How much is it worth?" And you're like, "Okay, I'll go find out." And I'm like, "Well, why are we here? Like, why are we in this position of like, I'll go find out? Like, that's our job." By the way, that's not our job, in my opinion. But why we're here is because we asked the wrong questions, or maybe because we asked the right questions and we didn't affirm them. Right? So like, what if you were showing a property, 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms with a pool and a 2-car garage to a couple that's within 20 minutes of their work, and that's everything that they said was important to them, and then they said no. And my question then becomes, well, if we came here and it had all these things that were important to you, what in the world would leave you open-ended to not making an offer?
Right.
And so I'm wondering, maybe... Here's an example.
I think maybe we don't have, it's not about like just a simple conversation. We don't talk about it enough, but it's having the hard conversation with them.
Well, that could be a piece of it.
I don't know what's
I got nothing.
That's
that could be a piece of
Can
it.
we tally it on the...
Yeah, no, that's 3
I
actually.
don't know.
Yeah. All right. So then, my point is, like, we brought you here. We did all these things. It's got all the things that you want. It's got some bonus features like a pool, but you guys are still not interested. And then they say things like, well, yeah. And you go, well, why? And they say, well, we weren't really interested in the pool. Then why did we come? Only because we don't ask enough questions.
Well, Well, I mean,
Because like, okay, I'd like a 2-car garage. Well, this has a 2-car garage, but then everything else that they're looking at is a 1-car garage. You're like, well, do you really need a 2-car garage?
right. But then like when they say they want a 2-car garage, I'm like, okay, like what are you looking to do with the garage? You looking to create a workstation? You looking to just put 2 cars in there? Like, what is the reason you want this 2-car garage, right? And then it gives me something that, like just more information about why they want it, and I can figure out.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
When I go into this coffee shop tomorrow morning, what's the first thing someone says to me?
What do you want to drink?
Interesting.
Or
They
what?
say,
Like,
good morning.
That would be the first thing that I would expect. What's the second thing?
How you doing?
What's the third thing?
what do you want to drink?
Okay. And I'm like, I'm not sure. What are they going to say to me?
Well, here's our
Have
menu.
you been here before?
Okay.
Here's our menu. Have you been here before? That's a great question. That's what I'm getting at. Right? Because I was kind of expecting the like, well, how do you like your coffee? Which would actually be a better question than what you asked or what you said. But the have you been here before?
So,
Well, think about it.
what would you say in terms of you walk into a
Well, just
property?
role play. Have you been here before? Just answer the question.
No.
Oh, well, can I tell you a little bit about our way of doing business?
Well, I want it. Sure.
What do you want?
What do I want?
Was there something specific that you wanted today?
Yeah, I want a black cold brew.
Oh, well, I'd be happy to make that for you. Let me. Hey, have you been here before? No.
But
Great.
wait, I don't want it anymore. You didn't put ice in it.
Well, no, that's the way we make it. I don't really care about that. But
But I'm not going to pay for that now.
All right, well, then I'm going to drink it.
Okay. But actually, I want that other cold brew in the back. Make sure you put ice in it.
Okay.
Okay.
Here you go.
Wait, but is that the nitro cold brew?
No,
Well.
we don't have nitro cold brew. We're all out.
Well, it looks like I'm out of the market for coffee.
Yeah.
So there you go.
See, I made the decision early on that you weren't my customer.
Yeah.
Because when I tried to say, oh, okay, cool, we got, like we tried to play the, have you been here before? You were like, nah, just one cold brew. And I was like, all right, cool. So then the cool thing about this coffee shop is like they have different colors. Say 5 different colors.
Really?
And
the intensity of the...
No. And I give it to you and I go, hey, what's your color today? And you say, pick a color.
Red.
Red. Oh, you're wrong. Sorry. But you haven't been here before, so let me explain. You're wrong, but it's blue today. So next time you come in, if it's a red one and you guess red, you'll get 10% off your next drink.
Oh.
That's like how we
Do
work.
they really do that?
Yeah.
Wow, that's cool.
But it starts and it's predicated on the idea that
Okay.
you said, have you been here before?
So let's flip this back to real estate.
Sure.
I'm looking through a three bed, 2.5 bath.
Yes.
2-car garage. Let's go. You're the agent.
Okay. So we're at the property?
Sure.
Great. Awesome. So unlock the door, walk inside. Now we're talking?
Sure.
Okay,
Or
great.
we're about to head out and you're doing some like your final words, whatever. What do you
Oh, like we've walked through the property. Now we're in the kitchen, just like talking.
Sure.
Okay, cool. Go ahead.
You're the agent.
Oh, yeah, but hey, I'm curious. How does this compare to other homes that you've seen?
Oh, we like it.
Okay.
But, I don't know, monthly payment's kind of high.
Interesting. Have you already run numbers with the mortgage lender that you trust to represent you in the process?
Yeah, kind of.
Okay. Who's that person?
First home mortgage.
First home mortgage. Okay. Well, hey, when we leave here, I'm going to shoot you a quick text and an email. I want to make sure that I get their contact information so we can work these numbers together. Because if monthly payment's what's important to you, I'd like to be able to come to these showings with a little bit more information. What's the kind of monthly payment you're looking for?
$2,000.
$2,000. And what did he tell you this one was?
$2,500.
$2,500. Why are we here?
Well, we really like this property, and this is the kind of house that we want.
Okay, well, in order to get this property, the kind of house like this one, which is pretty cool, it's going to be $2,500. Like, now I want to say to you, we went out this weekend and I went out with an investor, and huge shout out. There's this kid, Owen. I'm like dying to get this kid on our team.
Is this
No, this kid is 17 years old and he has goals. What are his goals? Just give me a guess. Give me a guess of what his goals are.
Be a millionaire by 25.
Sure. Any ideas? No. Cool. 25 by 25. Well, 25 what? 25 properties, 25 cars, 25 million. He wants to have a net worth of 25 million by 25. That's 8 years. Net worth of $25 million. You need a boyfriend?
No, that's 17 years old right now.
Anyway, but so the point
fuck?
is that we were out there, we're talking, we have great conversation. I'm really like trying to talk to Owen. His dad is the actual investor client that I represent. And so we're there and we're doing things and whatever. And we're there for an hour and a half. And at the very end of the conversation, his dad says to me, "Hey, Mike, can you add me to your investor list?" So everybody watching out there, you can ask me and I'll tell you the same exact thing. No.
I can add you to mine.
Yeah, that's great. I love it. Andrea's got a great one. Andrea at frankoliverco.com, right?
where
But
you
here's the
reach me.
thing. If you want an agent to represent you, you just want to be on a list? You just want to go tour houses? You just want to like do some research and think that you know what you're talking about in the market? Or do you want to like actually buy a home? So I tell Ron, no, I cannot. And he goes, why? And I go, I don't do that. That's not how I work with my investors. And then I go into how I work with my investors. Shout out to all of my investors, past and present. We have a great relationship and we do exactly what I say we're going to do. And then when you find another property with another real estate agent, you'll ditch them and you'll work with me because you value what I do. And it's okay. I'm not for everybody. And there's tons of great agents that have investor lists and tons of great investors that lowball agents' commissions and cut everybody out at the corners to make every penny that they can. And that's just not who I am. So I said, no, I cannot. I didn't ask a question. You want a $2,500 house? This is a $25 house, $2,500 house. If you want a cheaper property, I think we could probably do that. We could definitely get a townhome of this style, this era construction and everything else. But in order to get that, we're going to have to sacrifice a couple things. Can I share with you what they might be?
Yeah.
Well, you wanted a 2-car garage so you could have a gym on one side and have a parking on the other side, right? How much are you willing to sacrifice your gym so your wife can have parking? And she goes, oh, no, because Andrea just did it, right? He's not going to give that up. All right, well, here's the thing. The problem with going down a little bit in that monthly payment, it's going to sacrifice our capital investment that we're going to be able to make. It's going to sacrifice the amount of square footage we can have. And we just can't fit a 2-car garage on that much square foot in a townhome like this. Now, keep role playing and keep being like, well, we're just going to keep looking.
We're just going to keep looking.
All right, sounds good.
So yeah, when do you talk to him next? You just give him a call next week?
That week, just like everybody else.
So what do you say? Let's do that.
Sure.
Okay.
Hey, Christian.
Hey,
it's Mike Frank with Frank Oliver.
Oh, hey, Mike, what's up?
Not a whole lot, man. Hey, I was trying to reach Andrea, and she didn't answer the phone.
Yeah, for what? I make the decisions around here.
Yeah, see, that's why I wanted to talk to her, right?
That's why you're
I
giving up
know
that,
you do.
that gym.
I know you do, and what I want to do is I want to help her help you.
Explain.
That's 4.
Oh my God, I just popped my ears.
So, hey, I want to help her help you because what I know is that if we're going to try and get down to a $2,000 monthly payment, she's going to have to sacrifice a couple things. Like that big walk-in closet, we're going to have to go down to a small walk-in closet. We're not having a his and hers thing anymore, but we probably could still retain the dual vanity setup that I know you guys really wanted.
Underneath the sink can be his closet. It's fine.
Bang. Right? And what do you say to that?
It's fine.
And what do you say to that?
Hell no.
You're like, no, I'm not sacrificing that stuff. And I'm like, all right, cool. Was there anything else that you wanted me to talk about today? I mean, I would never do that. I would never, because that's just on me. But like, if you came into my coffee shop and I was like,
Good morning. Have you been here before?
have you been here before? And you were like, give me the cold brew in the back. And I'm
Oh
like,
my
all
God,
right,
you're the
cool.
worst kind of person.
Right. But that's what I'm saying. Like, if you, absolutely, sir, I'd love to. Hey, have you been here before? You haven't. Real quick, pick a color. And you're like, just give it to me.
Yeah.
I don't really want you as my client. I'm not advocating for bailing on clients. What I'm saying is that if you can't have the really tough conversation and come out from left field and be like,
So, like,
dude,
I feel
I was
like-
trying to reach her.
Understand what you want your business to be. Like,
Maybe. Yeah.
I've had those conversations and I've even put numbers together for my clients and brought folders to the properties and say like, hey, this is where we're at.
See, that's too much work.
Well,
do you
ask
feel it out, like how committed they are? Like, do you feel it out before doing that work for them?
What do you mean?
Like
their seriousness?
Yeah.
Well, if they're pre-approved, I can, yeah.
Oh, okay.
But like if they're not, what's the sense of me running numbers and just bringing that there? It's more just like a casual conversation.
So I want to share something with you. This happened yesterday, so came up. Alex, one of my past clients and good friends, came over to the house last night to talk about becoming a real estate agent. Really excited for her. All kinds of great things are happening, blah, 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 blah. And she says, no. The first time that I ever talked to you, you said you don't usually do rentals. But if you were, you would want me to come to the office so you can show me a little bit more about the process. And I was like, did I do that? Yeah. Like, look at me go back in year 3. And she was like, yeah, you did. And I was kind of like, okay. And then I came to your office and then she threw up in the office, which is true. Yeah, I didn't know that until after she moved.
Was she? Were you nervous?
Nah, she was hungover as fuck.
Oh.
Yeah.
We've all had that day.
But so she came to the office and she was like, you tried to get me to sign some paperwork, like as if I was going to buy a property because buyer's agent, tenant's agent representation, blah, 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 blah. And it was just like a little weird, but at the same time, it was really professional and I really appreciated that about you. Now, Alex has never bought a property. She rented, she moved into another rental, and then she moved in with her now husband, and they rent. They have aspirations, but they also really love where they are today, so they've never wanted to buy. In the process, Alex has recommended me to multiple of her coworkers. I've represented 2 of them and her sister, like instantaneously, because she respected the way that I approached the conversation. Mm-hmm. And what I'm saying to you is that as long as your people respect the way you approach the conversation, they might not buy with you today, but they'll buy with you eventually. If all you're trying to do is like put people onto an investor list, not knocking you, by the way. I think there's tons of very, very successful people with an investor list. But if all you're doing is like adding to your database every day and just putting people in the database and you're not really learning who they are or why they're making transition or what's important to them in the process of buying a home, you're just doing exactly what they want you to do and you're not bringing any value to them.
Mm.
Boom.
I mean, I think shit just happens. And like, even if you have some of the hard conversations, it just doesn't work out and can be kind of
totally true.
It can be frustrating as an agent, but also I can only imagine it being frustrating on the client end too.
So like, I'm going to look at this blog, which of course I can't show you because my computer's dead, but I'm going to look at this blog later and I'm going to reference it all the time with our clients because what it says is what you should be looking for, what you shouldn't be looking for. And the person that I'm thinking of is Jessica and Nick. They're boyfriend, girlfriend. They have a lot of trepidation about moving into the next stage of their lives before they're married. And so they're looking at buying a house, but then they ultimately decided not to. Well, the I don't want to buy a house was an hour and 20-minute conversation between me and her. While I was in the car, she was in the car. We just got to conversating about life and why we came together in the first place and the relationships that she knows and all the people that she knows
together?
that has bought. Yeah.
Okay.
They're super happy.
Okay.
But
I was going to say, did you break them up too?
No. We talked about all the things that made the people that she knows that own property successful. And she doesn't feel like they're there yet. So she wants to continue to grow their relationship. And that's amazing. He also just recently started a business. So we talked about business and tax and strategies and whatever. And like, for me, that fills me up. Everybody knows that. But it's not about what fills me up to help sell houses. It's about giving her the comfort of knowing that she's not making a bad decision. Mm-hmm. Right? Alex was here last night and she's like, thank you so much for saying that. Because everyone I know is like, are you okay? You're giving up teaching after 8 years? Like, are you okay? Right? To be a realtor? Like a what? We're in a blender, Christian.
What?
What? But I think that's the perspective that I take. And maybe a reason that I'm able to convert that person into a real buyer, not now, but in the future. Same thing with Bun.
Yeah, no.
It's just some conversations are more like, oh, damn, that sucks. I'm just going to be your friend right now.
Yeah.
And other conversations are like, what the fuck do you mean you're not buying this house?
Right.
And I'm wondering why we're there in the first place. Because if we asked enough questions, they want a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom with a 2-car garage. Did we ask, would a pool be a turnoff? No, we don't, because who would ask that?
Right.
But maybe before we go and tour the properties with them, we say, hey, I have a couple questions for you. I want to talk about this. But what I will tell you is that if you have to have that conversation, they're already a difficult client.
Yeah.
Like, think about Jose. Jose, property. You want to go buy it? Okay. Right? Like, if you took him to that property and he goes, I don't know. You're like, are you an investor or are you an investor? Like, I don't really understand. Why would you not be interested in this? And he's like, I don't like it.
Yeah.
Dude, we're not talking about the color, the smell, the shape, the size. Like, right? We're an investor. So what do you not like about it? Is it in the wrong area? Is it in the wrong price range? Is it the wrong like cap rate? Like, tell me more about what you're looking for so I can help you next time. Because like, if I don't like a pool, well, taking them to a house with a pool is like you're taking them to the same property again.
Well, so like I've even had conversations about people looking outside of their price range. I'm like, look, if you guys want to be at your monthly payment that you expressed to me earlier, like we need to scale back what we're looking for, right? Like we can't be spending $450,000, $60,000. We're going to be in between 380, maybe 420 with the range that you guys have given me. And I don't know.
Are you talking to them about the like the propensity for the market and where we're going? I'm going to use another example. Justin Buonamo. You guys remember that house? Big brick house. Sold a little tiny townhome, moved into a big brick house. And at that time, Justin was like, I can't get locked in. 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 Finally gets somebody to do his loan because he's a very specific situation for his income and his streams. 8.5%. People are like, hey, 8.5%. Right? But that was back when people were paying 5%. Well, now today, Justin's like, dude, this was the best decision I ever made. Cashed out on that investment that I'm not sure I would be able to cash out on today. Right? Still to this day, we have the highest sale in the community. Right?
Hell yeah.
Man, kudos. Soul live. But then take that liquidation and put it into this at 8.5%, and I can refinance still in a year for less interest. I'm super happy. Whereas if he tried to do that today, he probably wouldn't be able to sell his property for what he sold it for, and he wouldn't be able to qualify for the 8.5%. He'd probably be at like 9.5%. So it's like looking at this market as like a place of fear. Well, I'm waiting for the interest rates to go down. I'm like, I'm waiting to get younger. I mean, like, and meanwhile, when we were at that property with that investor, Amanda kind of gave me a hard time when we got in the car. She's like, you shouldn't be so mean. I was like, no. Anyway, the investor called me later and was like, hey man, wanted to thank you so much for taking the time today. I'm also thinking about making an offer. And if you could reach out to his son, blah, 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 blah. I said, he has my phone number. Later, his son reached out to me. It's like, yeah, I can chase and tell you how much you need to buy this house. But if we can't have a conversation that says like, look, the interest rates are terrible. This is where the market is. I'm with you. The market's not getting any better. You're spending $1,700 a month in rent. You're not getting anything back for it. Maybe we should get some tax deductions. Maybe we should buy a property, build some net worth, grow our equity, and you know, free pizza on me.
There's so much that goes into this.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Psychotic.
It really is. Like thinking about every little detail.
You
and
know
like,
what I've been thinking for like the last 45 minutes?
Oh Lord, this is scary.
This little thing gets you into the gym.
yeah.
And I'm like, man, we should just reach out to like psychiatrists and be like, oh, here, take our passcode, right? And just go talk to the psychiatrist and come back to me. Because it's literally crazy. People are psychotic.
Yeah.
And this is a stressful situation that makes them even crazier.
That's why.
I mean, it talks about like so many different factors that can influence your clients, everything that you guys have worked up to that point. I don't know.
Snap of a finger, people just snap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I think it's also how you react to it, right? Like it's super stressful situation. So like when your clients bring their kids to settlement because there's nowhere else to take them, or Danny Royal bringing his cat to settlement, which I will never fucking forget, right? Cat, he's like, yeah, no, I was in the truck. I'm like, bro, you got to get that cat inside. I didn't ask for permission from whoever's office we were at. Can we bring the cat inside? It's the middle of the summer. There's a cat in a cage in the truck. Like, this is how limited they are on funding. They had to literally move out of their house yesterday, and they're moving into the new house today. They slept in a hotel. Like, they took the cat with them. I was like, bro, you got to get that cat in here. Like, come on. Because I relate to him.
What I like is that he understands the sacrifice that he makes to get this home and build a better life for him and his family. And other people come into it and they're like, hey, this is the exact way I want everything to lay out. And it's, well, reality, when you have a conversation with your agent or whoever it may be, it's not always just this straight path. It's like, okay, well, now we got to do this. Now we got to do this. Now we do this. And this is how we're going to go about it. Right. And people don't want to make the sacrifice, and they don't want to change from the way that they already perceive how they're going to buy a home.
And we talk about the investor list. We talk about investors that want us to send them property. Oh, send me property, right? I was out with Kate and Gil over the weekend, and I was telling Amanda about a property that I had seen. I was like, babe, I need to show you this house, blah, 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 blah. And Gil, of all people, they live way up north in Parkton. And he's like, oh, I know that house. And I was like, no. It just came to the market yesterday. He's like, no, I know that house. It's right here. And sends it to me. I was like, yeah, you do know that house. And Gil's not in real estate, and he's not in the market for that house. He just keeps his eye on the market. That's his thing. So why would I try and say to him, I'm going to send you property? Like, he knew that house before I did.
Right.
Whether it's an investor, a primary owner, or otherwise, that's not our value proposition. So like this yellow brick road that it might be if we were able to be like, hey, here's some listings. Hey, here's a lender. Hey, we're going to go there. Hey, we're going to do this. And it's like straight line. Yeah, that'd be great. But they never listen to you.
No.
So they're like back there on the gravel path being like, Christian, what are you doing? And you're like, I'm following the yellow brick road. And they're like, nah, we want to go over here. And you're like, you don't qualify for that house. And they're like, well, can we just look at it anyway? And then they walk in and they're like, it smells. You don't even qualify for it. You shouldn't even be here in the first place.
Right.
And then Amanda laughs at me when I say that. She's like, that's really mean.
Yeah.
I'm like I get out of the car and I go to our clients. I'm like,
I feel like I'm
why
now.
are we here?
That's literally what I'm gonna start saying to some people. But it's not in, again, a mean way or anything
It's
like
not
that. But
mean.
it's not. But it's like
I haven't said
the
it like
reality
that.
check that people need. And
Yeah.
they need
oh,
to understand.
I do.
I know. I've been.
How do you
I've
say it?
I've been more of like, well, we can leave.
Oh,
You don't-
yeah.
we don't
no,
have
we
to
say,
be here.
We say the same thing.
Yeah.
I've said that too. But like my one is when
Like, I hate when people just continuously complain. Like, when you're talking about the property, like, oh, like, how did you like it? How does it compare to other properties that we've seen? Like, what takeaways did you get? Like, for our next showing that you were going to do? Like, what are we looking for? What else? What is it missing? What does
it's
it
almost
need?
like they want to focus on the neg.
Yes, and I hate that. I'm like, and like after
I've
you
experienced
after
this
you say
recently.
two negative things, I give you two, and then
Andrea's like-
after you give the three, I'm like, well, we can leave. You clearly do
like
not want this
smelling it
property.
up.
This property is not for you, so we can continue our search. Leave the property now, and we can go about it.
Do you guys know the first rule of house hunting?
Know what the fuck you want. Sorry.
All right, so we just pulled up to a property, brand new client, and we're going to be like, hey, you guys want to know the first rule of house hunting? And they're like, yeah, tell us. And you're like, know what the fuck you want. That might be a little aggressive, right? My first rule, and it comes out a little differently every single time. My first rule of house hunting is like, don't waste time. Like, if you know you don't like it, let's just leave. We got other houses to see. Right. And I tell them that right up front. So then when we go to see that one property that's like up on the road and backs up to a main road and it's a little loud,
Yeah.
when we get out of the car, I go, ooh, wow, this one's a little loud. And it's up on the main road. I have no concept of time for reference. My computer's
11.
dead. My phone's dead. My watch is missing.
We have a couple minutes.
Anyway, so, we get out of the car and I'm like, oh, it's a little loud. And then the wife gets out of the car and she's like, oh, yeah, it's a little loud. And I go, all right, we can leave. And they'll be like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
We just roll on to the next one.
Yeah.
Right. Or with Jared, who, hopefully getting to settlement this week, he turns around and he goes, yeah, I just want to see it. We're already here. And I'm like, yeah, no. And granted, I have a little bit of a different relationship with him, but Amanda was like, you can't be mean to him. And I was like, yeah, certainly I can.
Right.
And you know what happened? Jared decided to work with a family friend of a family friend because of a family friend situation. And I was like, dude, good, go. Be happy, right? If I can help you in any way. And then something happened, family related, and he called me up again and was like, hey, can I help you? Or can you help me? Right? And so it tells me, it like affirms that being this weird, totally dynamic, open to being just like unabashed, like we can leave is an acceptable practice in the eyes of the consumer.
Yeah.
Versus
It's
coming
like-
with my folder and being all ready with my numbers when like they don't really care.
It's like having like a small business with a lot of reviews that are like real people instead of like a brand new spanking
Yeah.
shop that looks perfect on the outside, but you don't really know.
Christian has something on that.
No. Well, like I had a client go out there, and I didn't use that line, but they were looking for, we'll just call it a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, whatever. They had a like garage and want something that's kind of updated. Property check the boxes and more. Like the perfect home for them. And then we go to talk about everything, and they're like, maybe you want to put an offer, blah blah blah, and then we leave the property, and then I call him up maybe 30 minutes later once I get in front of my computer, like, hey, just wanted to recap from our showing. Like, you guys mentioned you might want to throw in an offer. Just want to see how we felt. And like, oh, no, we don't want to put an offer anymore. I'm like, well, what had changed? And like, oh, well, the wife saw like a mousetrap in the garage. And I'm like, so this property that checks every single one of your boxes because you saw a mousetrap, which probably every house on the block and that you'll ever see has one in there at one point or another. And I will give you the $200 for you to pay a damn exterminator. Is now not a good fit for you. Like this property. It just like
That's not it at all.
it's not it. It's not
They're
the
just
reason.
hiding
I'm
from you.
And I'm like, so what's the deeper reason? And I'm like,
Well, but if you ask what's the reason, they're going to tell you. Oh, but if you say things like, well, hey, okay, we're not going to buy that property. Here's what I'm curious about. As we look at other properties, if they have mousetraps, we're definitely not going to look at them. Oh, no, we might want to look at them. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. So now, like, tell me what's going on.
right. And I've had like, I didn't say what's the reason, but I have the conversation of like,
What was the reason?
what the fuck you mean you don't want this property?
What was the reason?
I ask him a little bit more. It's like, well, hey, this property has X, Y, and Z that we had originally talked about. Has anything changed? What else are you looking for? You know? And they're just like, oh, we just didn't.
Maybe it's just their motivation to move. Maybe their motivation's changed since we first talked to them. Maybe they aren't really committed to buying a house in the first place. Maybe they're just a better resource for you as a referral partner than they are as a client. I mean, I think the bigger thing is that there's just so much shit to this industry and people focus on the wrong things. They're focused on like interest rate. And yeah, interest rate is a big calculation, but you know what? My house is too small for me. I don't care what the interest rate is. Like, it's not coming down anytime soon. Let's go buy a new house.
Right.
It's just, what's your motivating factor? What's your reason for moving? What's your reason for looking to buy? I mean, even today, I was looking for a commercial space, and one of my friends was like, why would you buy a commercial space today? Interest rates are awful. And I'm like, I don't really have an option here. Like, what would your option be? He's like, I'd rather rent. I was like, oh, well, that's an option too. But like, I can't not move.
Yeah.
Right? Like, rent, buy, that's up to you. But what's my motivation? I have a very clear motivation for what I'm doing. And maybe they don't.
Right.
Maybe we need to have like a breathing classes on Saturday morning run by Christian Olson.
Where we all just yell, what the fuck are we doing?
Yeah, what the fuck do you want?
You need to go to Tony Robbins.
He said he doesn't do it anymore. He does it virtual.
No, he does. It's in person. It's virtual simulcast as well. Tony only speaks for 2 days instead of 4.
Okay.
So you go for 4 days, you see Tony and you see another dude. And the other dude's really smart and Tony's really powerful. And you stand in this dark room and he's like, just stand up. And you're like, okay, I'm going to fall off my chair. And it's dark, like pitch fucking black. And he's like, all right, now scream. And people in the room like fucking scream. It's unreal. Unreal. And you're like, and like someone next to you goes like this. And you're like, who's touching me? But it's fucking wild.
Christian would scream out of fear, not because he's letting out anxiety.
Sounds like fun.
His anxiety would just.
It's psychotic. It's literally crazy, but it's also one of the greatest experiences.
I feel like
of your
it's
life.
pretty freeing.
It's super freeing. Have you ever cliff dived or like jumped off of a high dive in the pool or like done anything?
You don't yell.
Yeah, I've done cliff diving too.
You don't have to yell, but
don't
like
yell in your
when
car?
you jump,
No, like you don't yell in your car, just like
we don't yell at people.
no.
What do you mean yell in my car?
Like you ever
Like-
been so frustrated that you just yell?
Sometimes. But I try not to yell out of frustration.
No.
I try to just like internalize it and like figure out a
No.
different path.
I think
If
you need
the
to listen
loud-
to the I Want to Be Free.
Oh, by Queen?
By Queen.
Dude, I had that shit on repeat half the time I get in the car and I'm just like...
This is like little baby Christian inside.
Like 8 a.m. when I'm in the car driving to the office, the first thing I put on, hit on the highway, I'm like, let's fucking go, baby.
Let's fucking go. All right, we got to go because I don't know what time it is and I don't have a watch, a phone, or a computer. So what time is it?
It's just time to wrap it
All
up.
right, it's time to wrap it up. At any rate, you guys know how to reach me. You can always reach us at our Instagram, Michael Frank ____, at our website at frankoliverco.com. And you can always reach us anywhere else you need to get us.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
You
sir.
can reach me on TikTok and Instagram, Andrea _Soto, along with email, Andrea at frankoliverco.com.
For the win.
You can find me on Instagram at Christian the Deadhead.
I did get a couple compliments on Christian the Deadhead recently, but whatever.
Gang, baby.
We're out.